I've been told my entire life that I am exactly what every girl would want to look like. And yet, I can't seem to always agree with that. Before I say anything else, I'm sorry that I'm waving a little white thing around in front of you guys because I was in lab today. I'm taking a summer class and I was in a lab and I was using a pipette today and I was trying to get it in the little lever thingy. I'm sorry for anyone here who's mad that I'm not using the terms because I was just trying to stick the thing in the thing, okay? And it cracked and went through my finger instead. So finger's a little messed up right now. Ignore this. I took Tylenol. I feel fine. It's great. We'll see how I feel tomorrow morning. Whatever. Anyways, the topic today, learning to love your body. Now, this entire episode I'm recording with the knowledge that I don't have answers. I'm recording this episode to be as honest as I can be in my own journey and the things that I have learned and the things that I haven't learned yet, and to hopefully help someone, whoever's listening to this, feel heard, feel like they're not alone. And I want to come from this in a place that hopefully can help people feel a little bit less alone. I have been told my entire life that I am beautiful, that my body figure is exactly what every girl would want, that my hair is so beautiful, and like I'm just this beautiful girl, And as someone who's been told that her entire life, I don't always feel that way. And that's what I want to get on here, because I know that when comparing ourselves, when I'm comparing myself to someone else, I'm always thinking, wow, they are beautiful, they are perfect. I bet they never struggle with this. And I can almost guarantee that they probably do. And I think that's, where I want to start in this entire episode is to acknowledge that and be honest of the fact that, yes, I know that people have compared themselves to me before. I've had friends in the past who have told me that they have compared themselves to me and that they wish they looked more like me. And every single time I'm like, but why? Because I wish I looked more like you, And that's where I want to start this entire episode here, is to acknowledge that and to put some attention to the fact that no matter who you are, you will fall into the challenge of comparing yourself to someone. And I can guarantee that person that you are comparing yourself to has compared themselves to someone else too. In fact, it might be you. And that doesn't make it go away. But I do want to at least start with that, to recognize that and to be honest with that. Because as someone who I know people have been telling me, I know I have, curves. I know I have a tiny waist. I know all of, when I start eating more, all of my fat immediately goes to my butt. I know all of that. And I know that that's what people look at and think of oh, that's what we find pleasing or whatever. But yeah, I compare myself all the time with that. I, in the last episode, went through and picked out a million things that I could have compared myself to. I could have zoomed in so you wouldn't see the way that I was leaning over that I get from my dad, or hunched shoulders. I get that from my dad's side of the family. I have jaw issues, really weird jaw issues that started my senior year of high school, and to this day, I still haven't been able to get it fixed. And I'm actually going in soon for it because it's gotten to a point where I cannot deal with it anymore because it hurts. And I know that when I talk, my mouth is lopsided. I'm gonna really be vulnerable here, you guys. This is one of the biggest things that I notice when I'm recording is I'm I wish my mouth was bigger. I wish it was prettier, and I wish it wasn't lopsided when I talk. And there's so many different things that you can go through and pick out. And I'm constantly picking these things out. I wish I looked like this. I wish I didn't look like this. Another whole part of it is the aspect of identity, being a mixed person, being someone who, my dad is from Honduras, my siblings are all super dark, and I live in Minnesota, and in the winter, my color completely goes away. And I know that, I do get fairly dark, and I do know that if I were to live in a warm place like Honduras, where my family members live, or Miami, where my sister lives, I would be as dark as them. I have been the darkest one in my family before, and that's very possible, but living in Minnesota, that doesn't happen the same way, And so even something as simple as my identity, I have this super curly hair, but then I have my European features and my light skin, and I want to recognize that African heritage, that Honduran heritage that I have in my hair, and yet it feels almost like imposter syndrome. And so I just want to point all of this out and to recognize that I'm gonna go through, and I'm really gonna pick myself apart in this episode, and not in a bad way, but in a way that I want to be honest about all the things that I struggle with, to show you that you're not alone. I was talking to someone else the other day, and they were like, I wish my mouth was bigger. And I was like, oh my gosh, I wish that almost every single day. And we were like, really? We thought we were the only ones. And I was like, no, I wish that every day. We each thought that was something that no one else ever wished. And then we realized that it's not, and somehow just hearing the things that people struggle with and realizing, wait, I'm not the only one, is somehow very validating. So that's my hope in this. And I also just want to talk about the things that I have learned, the things I've struggled with, and the fact that body issues are something that everyone goes through. And I've been lucky, and I haven't gone through too much of it in my life, not a crazy amount, but I've still gone through it, and I still struggle with it. I'm a photographer. When I take photos of myself, I pick them apart. I'm a podcaster. I'm on YouTube. When I'm taking videos of myself, I pick myself apart. And I don't think that's the way it should be. Why is it that we have this standard? I don't even know if a thigh gap is a thing anymore, but a few years ago it was. And a few years ago, I don't even know if I still have one anymore. I'm going to be completely honest. But a few years ago, when it was a thing, I definitely did. And you know what? When I found out that it was a thing, I was like, that is the most ridiculous thing ever, because I hate it. I hate it. I've had one and I hate it. I hated it so much. But then for other people, that's something that they were like, that's what I want. Give me a second. The cat found where her food is. I'm gonna go take care of that quick. You've had a lot of food today, actually. More than you need. Okay. I, on the other hand, have not. I should eat dinner. I'm really bad at remembering that. I also have weird stomach issues, so I'm really bad at that's another thing. I compare myself with loving my body all the time. I have really bad stomach issues. I'm actually getting an endoscopy this week, which is why I'm kind of trying to record this ahead of time. Because I'm getting an endoscopy because I have so many stomach issues, and we think I could maybe have a hiatal hernia, maybe something else. We don't know. I have no idea, but it's possible that I'll be getting surgery in the near future someday. So, I figured, let's at least get the next episode up and going. So if I need to record ahead of time, I can do that. Anyways, I have always been a very skinny human being. And that is something that a lot of people have told me that they are jealous of. I, on the other hand, have always been a little uncomfortable with it. And I don't want to say always, because it wasn't until I got older and started realizing that, picking apart things about your body is a thing, I should do that too. When I was little, I didn't care. But I really struggled with it, especially when I was probably in high school, my junior and senior year of high school, I think. I really struggled with it because that's when I started realizing that there's trends about women's bodies. Why? And these trends change too, right? Your body is not something that is meant to be changing shape that drastically. You are going to change shape. Your body, like all of that, you change. But it's not meant to be going in trends. It's not meant to be changing so drastically. And you know what? It wasn't until I started seeing these that I realized, oh, maybe I'm supposed to look a certain way, and I don't. Going through Pinterest, I never see girls that look like me. I've always wanted to be one of those girls that's like, I don't know, just got like maybe my skin tone, maybe like, I don't even know. Like, I just wanted to be one of those girls that like had this beautiful big mouth again, really, you know, no acne, and I'm lucky I don't have very much, but I spend a lot of money on skincare. I don't wear makeup, but I spend a lot of money on skincare. So the extra money that would go to the makeup goes to the skincare. And you know, I really work at it. And I always wanted, and when I tell people this, they are always so sad to hear it. But I have always wanted straight hair. And don't get me wrong, I love my hair. But there's always been those moments where I just wish I could be one of those girls that has beautiful brown straight hair cut to shoulder length, and I can get some highlights in it, not quite bleach it, but like almost be like a dirty blonde type of thing, but I want my hair to actually be brown, and then, you know, beautiful earrings with it, and I can wear a baseball cap and no one cares if I take my baseball cap off in the middle of the day because my hair is just perfect and it doesn't look bad. You don't have to just wear a hat and realize that if you wear a hat in the morning, you have dedicated yourself to wearing a hat the entire day because your curly hair just won't work with it. There are so many different things that I wish I had, that I wish I looked like, that I wish, you know, seeing all those girls on Pinterest, on YouTube, on Instagram, TikTok, all these different things that I'm like, oh, I just want to be them, you know, like I just wish I looked like that. And yet would I actually change it? I don't know, because that's not even something I could change. Could I straighten my hair? Yes, but I love my hair. And at the same time, it's always been such a love-hate relationship for me. All of these different things about me, my hair, my face, my you know, weight, being skinny, all of this, these are things that I have always loved about myself, but I always really struggled with at the same time. And I guess for me, and maybe this isn't for everyone, but for me, it was never a hate or love relationship. It was a love-hate relationship. It was something where I was somewhere in the middle, and I really tried my best to be on the love part, but there were times where it was hate. It was difficult. It was a struggle. And it wasn't actually, I'm going to be honest here, in terms of my weight, it wasn't until I went on a medication that made me gain weight that I finally started to feel comfortable with my body. And I didn't know that that was a thing, I guess, because I always hear about people wanting to lose weight. And so for me, I was like, why am I being so hard on myself for being skinny? This is what people want. But I was at a point where I felt like I was too skinny. And there isn't such a thing as too skinny unless it's like, you know, like bad for your health, right? And in that case, that's a whole other thing. But like I didn't ever think I wanted to gain weight, but once I did, I was like, wow, I feel more comfortable in myself. Like, yeah, I've got a little bit of like, you know, stuff here. My arms, like I try so hard to keep my arm strength up. It's just not my thing, you know. I love yoga. I love pushing myself with that, but like the heavy lifting, the weights and stuff, the things that are going to make this like make me look ripped, like that's not going to happen for me. I just have never really enjoyed that. I like the body weight stuff. I've been kind of interested in calisthenics lately. I have no idea where that's going to go because let's be honest, do I actually have the motivation to get up every morning and do push-ups? No, I don't. That's going to be my honest thing here. I do not have that motivation. But every so often it happens and, you know, I can do a headstand, so there's a start. But it wasn't until I gained that weight that I was like, oh, okay. And I still have a hard time with it. When I step on the scale, I'm like, I didn't used to be this weight. I'm like 150 right now, I think. I used to be 130. I gained 20 pounds within that small amount of time that I was on that medication. And when you go on a medication that makes you gain weight, going off of it doesn't make it go away. You have to work at getting that to go away. And I did for a little while. I tried to get rid of like 5 pounds. Oh my God, I just moved my finger in a way that really hurt. Sorry. I tried to lose about like 5 pounds. I was like, hey, I'll be comfortable with that, right? And I did, and then it came back eventually. And that's what I realized, that maybe that's where my body wants to be. Maybe that's where it's supposed to be, because before that, I had been on another medication that had made me lose like 10 pounds in 1 month. And that's when I really struggled with this kind of starting to actually pay attention to my weight. And I was really struggling, and I was really trying to figure out, okay, why is this, right? I've never had good eating habits. I've never had an issue with food, but I've never had good eating habits because I just, like I said, stomach issues, I don't really get hungry. It doesn't happen, and I forget to eat sometimes. And I'm trying to work on that. I've been working at it a lot better lately, especially being at college and, 2 years of having the cafeteria there, even though I couldn't eat that food and I actually wasn't on the meal plan because stomach issues, like I said. But having that there and seeing the people around me, being like, oh wait, I need to go to dinner first, or oh wait, I need to go to lunch first, or something like that, made me realize, hey, wait, I should do that too. And it kind of got me into this habit of actually eating the amount of food that I should be eating. And then I didn't end up losing that weight. It ended up staying about there. I think I maybe gained an extra 5 pounds or something. And I realized that maybe it's not about how I look or how people perceive me or my weight, but maybe it's about, oh, this is where my body is comfortable. This is where I'm nourished. This is where I'm comfortable. And somehow being able to look at it instead of, oh, how do I look? And more about, what does my body need? What is my body providing for me? Helped me realize that it doesn't matter. That I am going to take care of myself the best that I can. And whatever that ends up looking like on the outside is okay. And suddenly just, I guess, having that realization, it took a long time, but having that realization kind of changed the whole thing for me, because then I even started realizing things like, oh, the scars I have all over my arm, like those tell stories. The scar that I'm going to have on my finger after, puncturing myself with glass today, that's going to be a story. And that's going to be a fun one to tell in a few years, actually, I have to say. Surprised I didn't have to get stitches. And, the fact that, I, jiggle a little bit when I move. I know my lower half of my body definitely does. And that's okay. I, even in the last however much time, I have been really paying attention to oh, you know what? I can see genetically, the way that I look is based on my family members. I was like, oh, wait, I have stomach issues, so did my family members. Oh, wait, I have these terrible, terrible bags under my eyes, and nothing will ever make them go away. I mean, I have to take care of my, because I don't want them to get worse. But, nothing will ever make them go away because they're genetically from my biological father. And I don't think I ever really learned to appreciate them until I had just been in Miami with my sister and we were talking about it, and I realized, hey, wait, this is somehow a connection to this part of my family I don't even know that much. That's kind of cool. And even though I hate them, it's kind of cool. So all of these different things, I guess, just realizing that my body's my body. It takes care of me. This extra stuff going on here, the fact that I have no muscles, that's okay. Do I keep working on it? Do I try and keep myself active? Yeah, but it's not necessarily about what it looks like on the outside, And I think that somehow realizing that, when we hear about oh, so-and-so had a glow up or things like that, I feel like the glow up is really internally. Because when you are internally doing well, you're internally taking care of yourself. I don't care what you do for your external self, but when you are internally taking care of yourself, you will automatically glow up. That is at least my opinion. Like when you are really, truly learning to love yourself and take care of yourself, all of a sudden, oh my gosh, I'm not stressed as much. My skin's clearer. Oh my gosh, I'm happier. I'm smiling, and smiling looks nice, all of these different things, and just being able to be, comfortable and confident in this like body and existence that you have is really amazing. But I also, on the flip side of that, want to recognize that I'm not there. Will I ever be? I don't know. I have no idea. I got out of a relationship actually about almost a year ago. Not quite. And it was really hard on me, and it has been really hard on me still, to realize what that relationship with my body is. That was, I'm going to be honest here, I'm not comfortable with myself all the time, and that's going to take a long time to get back to. It's going to take a long time to truly feel comfortable and confident in the person that I am, and being in another relationship someday and sharing that with someone. Like, I am not there yet, and I don't want to be there yet. And it's going to take a while because I got hurt in many different ways, and I want to give myself that time to heal from that. And even just with that, oh yes, I do love the person that I am, and I'm really doing my best to love this body that I'm in too, right? But it's not always perfect. It's never perfect. I woke up with a giant pimple on my forehead this morning. Just if you guys have pimples on your forehead, these bangs, they're here for multiple purposes. I like them, and they're also taking care of the pimples right there. So just this whole concept of really just learning to take care of yourself, really just learning to love yourself for who you are. That's what I really want to bring to this episode today. This is what I really want to bring across the screen to you today, or across the microphone, however you're listening, because I just feel like it's something that needs to be said, and it's something that I just want to express. Maybe I'm the only one, but I have a feeling that I'm not. So I'm sending you guys all really big hugs, and I'll be back next week. Hopefully this thing will be off of my finger and I'll be doing better. And yeah, I might have to pre-record a few of these depending on where the surgery stuff ends up going, but I'll keep everyone updated, and I'll see you next time.